I am no Jedi. Ooh, I'm a rebel just for kicks now.
We have a lot of work to do.
Once a rebel, always a rebel.
Hello, explorers, and welcome to our finale of Ahsoka. As always, I'm joined by Taylor and Jimmy.
Hello.
Howdy.
And myself, this time, I'm in Belize. Finally landed, hours of jet lag, and it was all worth it.
Bet.
Good.
Yeah, I'm being attacked by flies and midges. God knows what else is looking at me at the minute. There's snakes and spiders and all that good stuff. Well, here I am.
You're like in Dagobah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. If it's as humid as it is here, oh my gosh.
Oh yeah. Just make sure you shake out your shoes before you put them on.
Oh, I've heard a few horror stories already. So, we've all watched the finale of Ahsoka. I'll quickly sum it up in about 3 words. Before we go any further, as always, though, spoiler alert. So, again, if you've not watched Ahsoka, the final episode yet, go away, watch it, but make sure you come back and tune into the episode and let us know what you thought. So before I go to Jimmy, I'm going to quickly sum up my thoughts of the episode. Some bit of mixed emotions, if I'm honest. If I was going to sum it up, I'm going to say more questions than answers.
Yes.
More questions than answers. What about you, Jimmy?
Oh man. I only got like 5 seconds of my man crush, so I'm not disappointed. I feel like I'm slightly vindicated from our theory and predictions because there's no way season 2 is not coming.
Oh yeah,
So,
there's definitely a season 2.
Taylor, what do you think?
There was so much packed into this episode. Like, I don't know. Maybe some people will notice that like the timing is like the too fast or something, but I can't believe how much they shoved into this episode. Like, it doesn't even feel like it was 42 or 46 minutes long.
Yeah, it was about 42 minutes of whenever the credits started rolling. So, I mean, yeah, about 40 minutes of runtime.
There was a lot of good things in this, but a lot of these good things did bring more questions, so we didn't get a whole lot of answers, I guess. So,
well, let's dive into Ahsoka, Episode 8. The Jedi, the Witch, and the Warlord. Directed by Rick. He's back. Was it Famawea? So he always, man, this guy, Famawea, man, he crushed it again. I don't even know where to start, so we'll start from the beginning. I thought the music kind of set the tone. Just super intense music to open with. You know, like I was like, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Like, here we go. And, man, just, all right, let's start with the opening scene. We have, I think, was it Thrawn talking to, was it Morgan?
Yep.
Yeah.
The opening. I feel like so much happened that I can't even remember what just happened.
I know, I'm like looking at my notes. So I've got Mother Alliance.
It was crazy busy.
Yeah. Rick Famuyiwa always does this, actually, now that we think about it. So it's like, I don't know, I want to say it's like a buffet table, but instead of there being like salads and stuff that you kind of skip, it's like all the good meats and all the good seafood. It's like, no! So
yeah. Well, first things first, like Jimmy was saying, we had Thrawn talking to the mothers and Morgan. We still didn't find out exactly what was in that cargo. He did mention about preparing.
Oh.
Did he mention cyanide or something? I thought I didn't quite catch it.
I am almost 1,000% positive those are night witches in those containers.
I have been telling you guys that from the very first time we saw those.
He says that he woke the Night Mothers.
Yes.
Yeah, Ezra said that.
I did pick up on that.
Ezra says it like so casually, like some people are not going to have picked that up.
Yeah.
No.
There's a few golden nuggets along the way like that.
Yeah.
I So my notes, I have Thrawn's angry about losing to Ezra because he says how a lot of Imperial officers. So he's still holding on to that. Morgan is nervous, and I put ... So am I. and then they turn her into
a night sister.
A night sister, like officially.
She gets the gift of shadows.
The gift of shadows and the blade of Talzin. And at first I was like, Talzin, I know that name. I know
Mother
that name.
Talzin.
And I'm like,
Talzin.
Yeah, and it like halfway through the episode, I just screamed out, Mother Talzin. And
Molly's like, shush.
We had a little watch party. So myself, one of my coaches, Danny, and then another work friend and his wife came over with my wife, and we watched it on that big screen projector. So that was pretty fun, a good environment. But yeah, I thought that was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And what did you guys think of that? Like, I just feel like, man, I'm kind of buzzing still. It always takes me a while to kind of calm down and get into this.
Stop freaking out.
So, what did you guys think of that whole transition? They change her, they whip out that sword, and as soon as I saw the sword, I was like, oh, we're going to get to see what she can really do.
Yeah.
That actress is a badass martial artist, and I thought, man, we're going to get to see her use that sword. It's going to be great.
Yeah, you could see that. I've got on my notes later on as well how talented she is. Obviously, the granddaughter of Bruce Lee, etc.
For sure.
Good little golden nugget. Those mothers freak me out. Massively freak me out.
And that's what Molly said.
There's no coincidence they've dropped that before Halloween.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So you've seen a few of those at your door, I think, Jimmy.
Oh, yeah. Quite possibly.
I like a little Talzin reference. I thought she took it quite well after she transformed. I love the special effects, and we were just talking on the last episode about the special effects. I thought they were fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were really good.
Big fan of that. But yeah, I'm interested to see if our explorers picked up what Thrawn was saying about loading something. I'm sure he said something like cyanide or something, at the start when he was talking to Captain Enoch.
I don't know. I didn't catch that, but I was little side conversations and taking notes. So maybe I probably missed a few things.
We'll probably see more after second watch, and then we'll wish that we had recorded after.
Yeah.
I do think sometimes I wish we had time to watch it twice before we recorded. But I think this is good, too, though, because, like, this is not my favorite episode, but I'm still, like, a buzz, you know?
Yeah.
And so, like, I mean, there's no lying about how we feel. So, if our listeners, I know sometimes it seems a little wonky, but I mean, you're getting us raw 10 minutes after it premiered.
Yeah.
From there.
Exactly right. We deciding how we like it at the same time as explaining.
We're talking and feeling at the same time.
Exactly.
Man, the next sequence, guys, I've been waiting to see this. I know you guys have had to have been waiting to see this. Ezra building his lightsaber, him and Huyang just going at it. Huyang's like, just that whole conversation. But I just saying that out loud, I got goosebumps like down my body again, like thinking about it. What did you guys think of that scene?
First of all, right away, I'm like, oh my gosh, Huyang has a walk-in lightsaber building closet. It's a total walk-in closet with like building desk, everything. It gave me like the Jedi Fallen Order vibes because all the different like shelves and stuff, and it's like sitting up on the stand, like his lightsaber. And he's making it so cool, and he's like putting his own little like tweaks and stuff, and Huyang's like, no, that'll never work. And it just reminds me of like two old guys, or like an old guy and his dad, like working on an old car, and they're both like doing their own thing. And it's like, no, like, let me get in there. You know what I mean? So it just reminded me of that. And that was super cool. And of course, when he's looking for the, that first
emitter.
Part of, the emitter, of course we know, the emitter of the saber, I'm like, no way. Yeah, he's doing it. Huyang, however you pronounce it, pulls out apparently the exact copy of Kanan's emitter for his saber when he was a kid, and then he starts talking about, well, I actually showed Kanan how to make his saber, but wasn't his name Caleb?
He says Caleb though. He says
did
Caleb.
he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Because
But then Ezra calls him Kanan.
Okay, so they're both saying it. Okay, because I was like trying to catch it, but like I actually was able to watch this episode with my husband, and he kept pausing it and asking. So I was like, oh my gosh, I can't pause it anymore. Come on, deadline.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good little reference with Kanan.
I got some.
Go on, Jimmy.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
It's a good little reference to the Kanan. I love the build up and the relationship. Again, just watching Ezra develop in those few minutes. Doesn't seem a lot, but it's just a mention of Kanan. The whole scene just changes. Like the whole body language, everything, literally the emotions. You just feel the sorrow seeping through from Sabine and Ezra. You know, the loss of Kanan.
Too.
And I think it's one of the only Jedi at the minute for a long time, apart from Qui-Gon, where I've actually felt the sorrow of the Jedi once they've lost one of their own.
I know, because you're always supposed to be happy that they're one with the Force.
Yeah, Taylor, that's a good point. You're always supposed to celebrate them. I still, some of the things that the Jedi do, I just don't buy into. But yeah, I got some real Harry Potter vibes from that scene. Ollivander's,
this is the brother to your wand. Yeah, that's exactly what I thought.
So I got a little vibe of that. Obviously, I'm down for all the pop culture. And
I was thinking that the whole time too.
And he asked him, how long have you been doing this? And he's like, long enough to know, this is Huang saying it, long enough to know that the relationship between the Jedi and the Master is as challenging as it is meaningful. And I thought that was a really cool line, and that's when he finds that emitter. And I was like, no way. And everyone sitting with me was like, no way. And I thought that was just, you don't get to see him build them very often. Is this the first live action saber build we've seen? Has there been one where someone's built a saber?
I want to say yeah.
I feel like there has to be, but this was a really good one. We don't usually get to see them screwing around and using their fingers. Like they're usually using the Force and stuff, right?
But I don't know if we've ever seen it live action before, so that was kind of exciting.
No.
Yeah.
And now we moved there, and I thought this did a pretty good job of answering some questions. Like Jack said, though, we got more questions than answers. We did get some answers, and we finally got the answer I think a lot of people wanted to know. What happened between Sabine and Ahsoka?
Yeah. They tied that up pretty nicely.
With the whole Mandalore thing.
Yeah, and it makes sense as well. You don't want another Sith going rogue. So again, really wise choice, I think, from Ahsoka. She's
seen it happen, right? Yeah. From someone she cares about most.
And that's what's put her off, obviously.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a good little nugget on that. I think from there, did we go to where she went outside? Obviously, Sabine was outside, Ahsoka was on the top. Basically, we saw them connecting up a little bit, and then the TIE fighters came down. Yeah,
so Ahsoka talks, they kind of tied in, like you guys said, they tie in the Night of 1,000 Tears with the Sabine's parents.
Yeah, her whole
There's
family.
A couple references to people turning to the dark side, which we'll get to in the end. But and then she comes out and they talk, and I know Taylor, you've nailed it a couple times about Ahsoka's transformation.
Yeah,
and she talks about Anakin, and just I also think she was referencing when Anakin stood beside her during her trials. In the Clone Wars.
She says Anakin. I have a really quick quote here. Anakin was always by my side, and I'll be on your side from now on. But it was not that exact. But
yeah,
Anakin always stood by me, and now that's what I'm going to do for you. Because really, she hasn't been this whole time, right?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I like that, and then she kind of picks that Sabine so your little gamble paid off, by the way, you're lucky. And it's oh, you heard about that? And she's like, yes, I know that you gave him the map after I told you to destroy it, but Ahsoka's so glass half full now, right?
Yeah, she really is.
Very much so. But I like it because that just reminds me of more of what Ahsoka always has been for us, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good. She's had a great story, character arc throughout these 8 episodes. Like really well done. I know people were real grumpy about it and stuff, but they just this shows Dave's been thinking about this for a long time, and he's really the characters. He could have just, they could have just pushed through this without that, but it really kind of adds the next level. Then she drops. Train your mind. Well, she tells her a secret. It's not about wielding a lightsaber. She's like, train your mind, train your body, trust in the Force. I figure Jack will be using this one as one of his quotes sooner or later. But I love that. And then Jack said, like, here come the TIE fighters.
Yes.
Yeah. Brilliant little scene. Not really a great deal to it. I did like the fact that her and Ezra worked together. I thought that was fantastic. I love seeing Jedi like that.
Like when the ship's gonna crush all the shellfish people, and they're just
brilliant.
like, so cool.
And I was a big fan of the maneuver to get through the ties as well. I thought it was pretty smart. I like that. Really like
literally
that.
through them.
Yeah, big fan of that because it makes sense as well. Yeah, and that was pretty much really the big thing from that scene, wasn't it?
Yeah.
There wasn't a great deal from there.
No, I thought that they were going to use that as plot device to drive them towards the Chimera, but obviously we'll get to the the end. But I really thought, okay, so the T6 is down, so now we've got to get everyone to the. And it was a pretty little fun scene with I don't know if it's with the Noti and Hugh Wang trying to fix and he's like, don't wait for me. He's like, oh man, this is the help I got. We're in trouble.
Yeah. That was brilliant.
That little timing. That little Noti, he's like electrocuting himself.
Yeah, they're like
pretty cute.
But yeah, and then from there, obviously, we're seeing them all riding the wolves. I forget the name now. Towards the Chimera.
The Howlers.
Right, Sabine and Ezra are riding the same one, and Ahsoka is riding one, and they're racing, like running super fast.
But yeah, so obviously at this point, then we see them on the Howlers running towards the ship, and I think here we see a little bit of desperation from Thrawn, where he starts bringing down the Hellfire.
Yeah, they just start shooting at them. Oh.
Yeah. And obviously then you see them running towards the entrance. You see Ahsoka obviously telling them to help each other out. And that's the first instance we see of Sabine using the Force again. But interestingly, we don't know if Sabine's actually helping or she's just stuck a hand out.
Yeah, so Ezra and Ahsoka are trying to open the door so that they can get up to the ship before Thrawn takes off. And Ahsoka just yells back, Sabine, help out! And I'm just like, what? Like, what is Sabine gonna do right now? It's like, but I guess we see. Moving on.
That's the first sign as well.
Yeah.
That's great writing.
Yeah.
To disguise it that way. I mean, obviously Filoni wrote all this stuff, but to disguise her ability, like, is she helping that? I mean, I think all of us, I would say, we all assume that she just had her hand out like one of us trying to walk through a sliding glass door. Wasn't really doing much.
Yeah.
But when they get through the gate, the look on Thrawn's face is killer because he's like, crap, here we go again. Like these damn Jedi. So I thought that was pretty cool. His look on his face was just people who don't know Thrawn. Even I know he mentioned that stuff early in the beginning of the episode, but people who don't know him could be like, you could see like he's like, here we go.
One key
you can
point.
Almost tell by his mouth, like how tight his mouth is how stressed out he is.
One key point I think is worth mentioning as well with that scene is it's the first time you see Ahsoka truly trust Sabine. So even though she tells her to help out, you don't know if she's actually helping out, but it's shown that Ahsoka is now putting a bit of faith into Sabine's abilities.
Yeah.
But yeah, Thrawn pretty much looked how we felt once we've seen the Jedi getting in there. And that's when obviously the real action started to happen. We've seen the troops amassing. Did they know exactly what they were getting into? I'm not completely sure they did.
No, I don't think she told them
He asks
exactly what they're
like 3
getting into.
times. Were they aware? Are they aware that they're going in to fight
look,
3 Jedi?
that look was one of those looks where you've asked someone something to do something and they've gone, yeah, I forgot to tell them, but yeah, they're happy. They're happy. And then it went off. I was a bit confused as to why Ezra's gone back to blue, but I guess if we're going down to Pinnacle stuff, he's obviously gone down to the Sentinel Jedi, and then Sabine's gone down to the Guardian.
So he just got a kyber crystal off the T6, or
I'm thinking so. That was me right away. I'm like, where did he get
as
that
to where he got one from. Obviously,
okay.
Sabine was green, Ahsoka was still white, so my theory of different colours of coming up had gone out the window. And then we've seen the action, which I thought was absolutely awesome.
Yes, that action sequence, and it's a long one. Like you guys said, they pack a lot in, and I think this is part of that. This makes me hungry for the Acolyte in another way that, I mean, we talked about it on the theories one and stuff like that, but seeing 3 Jedi using the Force and fighting, and then of course they lay waste to them all. It is so cool to see Ezra, live action Ezra, wielding a lightsaber.
He absolutely
he was so good.
It. Like I said, I wasn't sure, but he absolutely killed it for me. Absolutely killed it.
How did you guys feel seeing those Jedi? Like
awesome. Exactly like you're saying, Jimmy. You've seen the different fighting styles. For me, different colours, as stupid as it sounds, like different sabers. And then I also love the fact that Sabine went back to blasters as well. I was like, yes, this is what I want to see.
Yeah, Sabine's almost like, okay, well, everybody else has their sabers, so I'll have mine out too. And then it's like, okay, screw this. I'm better with my blasters. Which is so good.
A really funny point as well. I don't know if you caught this. As soon as that battle started, Sabine took a bullet or a laser blast to the head straight off.
Really?
Did you not pick it up? So when you watch it back, it's like sabers up and it's ding. Right, let's go.
Oh my god, that's smart.
She missed because Ahsoka looks over at her, like, "You okay? Like, what are you doing?"
Yeah.
Oh my god,
straight in the helmet. Like I was just like, oh my god.
Oh my god, I totally missed that.
But that's what I mean. It's the difference between Ezra and Ahsoka trained Jedi properly, and Sabine's still that raw Mando Jedi kind of thing. So I loved it. As soon as she got hit in the head, I was howling. And then we also had a question answered as well in terms of the Night Troopers. Who or what are they? So we know that those Night Troopers or Stormtroopers were people.
Yes.
But what we didn't know is what happened to them. So obviously they thought they'd killed them. Essentially they had. And then we got our first nod to the books, to the, I forget the name of the novel now. It's got the zombie Stormtroopers in.
It has it right on the front.
Is it Death Troopers? Is it the book called Death Troopers? Or
I think so. I can't remember off the top of my head, but you see all the eyes glowing green and that.
Like,
there is a picture of it out there.
I think I've seen the cover of the one you're talking about. Yeah. But I think their eyes are like glowing yellow or something.
What did you guys think of the zombies?
So good. Their movements are so good. I liked that they're just hitting them and they're just still going down. I liked that right away they didn't just start going for headshots right away because, let's be honest, Ezra's not watching The Walking Dead and knowing to go for headshots. So I'm glad that they didn't do headshots like right off the bat. But it was so good. And Ahsoka goes, well, that never happened before. And like you see this, you hear this like tone in her voice where she's like worried. Like you don't hear that Ahsoka voice, so that was good.
What did you think, Jimmy?
Yeah, I liked it. The book's called Death Troopers, so
there you go.
Yeah, but yeah, the CGI and stuff like that, the glowing green eyes and the stormtrooper helmets and stuff like that was pretty cool.
I like
and then
that.
just seeing kind of coming to life in that fight, and it kind of give you a bit of a creepy zombie movie kind of. Dave tied so much into this. I mean, you think about the title, you're looking at C.S. Lewis,
I think it was a gamble.
Zombies.
I think it's a big gamble because I think there's going to be a lot of people out there that aren't a fan of the zombie stuff.
Well, Clone Wars people are gonna like it.
And that's the thing is, my wife still said, the Night Witches, they still don't feel like Star Wars to her, but she's not seen as much.
Yeah.
So
What did she say about the zombies?
Let me ask her. What did you feel about the zombies?
I didn't like that either.
She didn't like that either.
Zombie movie.
She said it's not a zombie movie.
It's Halloween season, I guess.
So
it is Halloween season.
But that's my point. That's my point. This people do look at it and go, "That isn't Star Wars. Or it doesn't feel right." But for me, at first I was like, "Oh, not zombies." And then when they started moving around and doing the thing, I thought, actually, no, he's made this work quite well.
Yeah.
And then like we alluded to earlier, then we got into the scene with Morgan Elsbeth in the middle with a blade.
So good.
Game on. Happy, Ezra, and Sabine went round. And then the duel, I thought the duel was absolutely amazing. I'll let you guys talk about that in a second. But something else I picked up on is she started touching the blade with her hand and running her hand down the blade. And I know it's not a lightsaber.
Yeah.
But I was just thinking, please be careful, you're going to lose a hand here. But yeah, she could move. Both of them, amazing. I'd love to know how long it took them to do the fight sequence with rehearsals and everything.
And there was long cuts too. Like there was a bunch of short cuts back and forth. Like there was some really long filming cuts that they had to do.
It was really well done. What do you reckon, Jimmy?
Yeah, I like I said, when I saw them hand her that sword, I was kind of dumbfounded by the name for a second, but I figured that out, and then I just thought, man, they are giving her an opportunity to showcase who and what she is as a real live person, and she did not disappoint. And I thought Rosario, and it looked like it was her most of the time. I know, because but even her stunt doubles, like that was good fighting. Like that was an awesome sword fight. Real quick, the Night Trooper thing, everyone thought they were zombies anyway, so I don't know, we found out that they weren't, but I mean, they end up being exactly what we thought they were, most of us, right? I mean, we kind of thought they were undead, so. But yeah, Taylor, what did you think about that fight with Morgan and Ahsoka?
Well, first off, right away, I was like, "Oh, both the Pokemon are leveled up now. Like, both of them have evolved since their last battle, right? Like, Ahsoka's now like Ahsoka the White and positive, and Morgan Elsbeth.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, and Morgan Elsbeth is like mother of witches or whatever, and she's that's the scene where she's buying more time for Thrawn.
Yeah.
And so he's like, for the Empire, and she's like, for Dathomir. Like she's like, not for the Empire, for Dathomir. And she takes out one of Ahsoka's sabers.
Right what the heck?
Bam! I don't know which one it was, the short one or the long one.
It was a short one.
Short one.
Oh, I actually really like that one.
But it's a classic case of light versus dark. Like you say, you've got Ahsoka the White and Elsbeth the Dark.
Yeah.
I thought it was a really, really clever tie-in.
Yeah, it was really good.
And then I think my favourite part of the entire episode was when Ezra and Sabine was taking on those troopers. Because at first I was like, what the hell are these troopers? Then I heard them talk. I was like, oh my God, it's the Death Troopers from Rogue One.
Yeah.
Oh
they
my
are.
God.
But they're like dead or whatever.
No, that's the thing. So like Jimmy said then, we sort of know what they are, and what they become to an extent. So when the helmet was shot off and a bit of the jaw thing was showing, it looked to me like, wow, there's a giant lizard on my window. It looked to me like they literally just ran across the window. It literally looked like they had the zombie flesh showing. So I was like, well, are they already dead? Or could you sort of explain that and say, is that the makings of a blaster burn?
I was under the impression that the Death Troopers had been modified.
Super strength.
Like they had been like modified, even like the ones in Rogue One had been modified and stuff like that. But yeah, I thought, because I was kind of confused, like, were they dead once already and now they're back? Or
I think they were dead ones already, or they've been modified because they had super strength the way they were lifting Sabine up with one hand, etc. and Ezra.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I wonder if they were just like already dead, and they're just
another awesome scene where they're fighting them. I thought that was brilliant. And obviously that's when we saw that Morgan had been seen off as well. What did you guys think of the death of zombie troopers?
well, the zombie troopers were, I don't know. Those ones, the first ones, just the stormtroopers, they were just alive always, and then they died, and then the spell like hit them, and then these the darker troopers or whatever, they look like they've been dead for a while. Like, I don't know if that's like they were dead for a while and they used the same spell, or if it's like a different spell but they're using them. But I just wanted to say, when Sabine is fighting and she's got one hand on her blaster and one hand on her saber, she has got it figured out. Like, she's like, it was so cool. Like, I had like goosebumps and I was like huge smile. I was like, yeah. So her with one blaster, one saber, it looks so cool. Sabine, like that right there made me like love Sabine. It was so cool.
What about you, Jimmy?
Yeah, I thought they were cool. I usually what happens is after we're done recording, I'll go up and start editing, and then I'll rewatch the episode as I'm doing it. So I'm kind of curious to get a better look at them. Because we're watching it on a widescreen projector, so it wasn't super clear. But yeah, I'm a little confused. Like I said, I thought from what I've read that they were modified troopers. Like they had a bunch of different modifications and things done to them, but they look like they were zombies already. So but I thought it was pretty cool. Like that was a good fight. Everyone had someone to fight. And then
I was expecting him to force push one of them off the edge.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Like, oh, we're gonna have to get them close to the edge and push them off because they can't kill them. But then that kind of leads us to the moment, man. This leads us to the moment.
The big one.
So all of that talk with the previews, we had months of it, weeks of it, even the last 7 weeks of it. Is Sabine a Jedi? Does she have the powers? Dave tricks us with the door, and then the Luke Skywalker Wampa moment that we've all kind of been waiting for. And I don't know, people are going to hate it. I wasn't real keen on it, but when she was trying to use the Force to get her saber, I was on the edge of my seat like, come on, Sabine, move, move, move. Yeah. And then it did, and I got caught up in the moment. I'm not going to lie about it. Like, I think I was kind of against her being a Jedi at first, but in that moment, I was a huge Sabine fan. I was cheering for her. Everyone in the room looked at me like I was a crazy person, but I love it. I know there's going to be some ramifications for it, whatever. But I don't mind it. Like I don't. I'm down with it. She's kind of proven over these eight episodes. She's got some things to learn.
Yeah.
But I'm glad she's a Jedi, and I'm glad she's, we're going to get to see that. So
I mean, the franchise needs more female Jedi. So it was going to be a dead cert. As bad as it may seem or sound, they've got to. It's so male hero orientated. I think Star Wars. You look at the female Jedis that you've got now. You've got Rey. You've got Yaddle to an extent. Ahsoka's there. Sabine's there. Hera's there. Leia's there. But Jedi-wise, you've only got like 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and most people aren't going to read the High Republic like we do.
Yeah, the High Republic is full of female Jedi.
Yeah, tons of strong female characters. So, but yeah, what'd you guys think, guys? Like Sabine Wren, move the lightsaber.
I liked it. Like, it's literally a life or death moment for her. Like, he's choking her out. She's watching Ezra also probably dying at the same time. And also, this is kind of that. It rhymes with the other series, like all the Jedi that are kind of becoming themselves and finding themselves as Jedi always have that kind of, the lightsaber grab. Like Luke has it, Rey has it, you know what I mean? Like it's just that iconic first realizing how to use your lightsaber, grabbing it. So I liked that. And yes, I was also like, yeah! I was like, great! So I liked it.
It was a really, really good scene. I enjoyed that. The only thing I got a little annoyed at was the next scene, which we're going to in a second. But in terms of grabbing the lightsaber and that, happy days.
Yeah.
And I need to go back and listen to episode 3 because I rewatched the first 5 episodes yesterday off and on while I was doing stuff, and we made all those funny cup videos, and I think that we said then, Taylor, I don't know who was on the review that night, but I said it's going to take a moment of life or death, and that Sabine's going to use the Force. I mean, it's not like it was really was out there in left field or something, but
no,
it kind of came true. So
that's exactly what you said. You said it's either going to be like her having to save someone, or it's going to be her like the very life or death, and that's going to get her to tip her over the edge. But apparently, it's not just that you're just barely making you have a little bit of strength in the Force. Apparently you just switch it on,
once
right,
once
Sabine?
it's on, it's on.
That's it. Talking about edges, they obviously needed a bit of a force push to get them through the edge. This is what annoyed me a little bit, because obviously she's only just sort of now really used the Force. Obviously we had it with the gate where we weren't too sure. We had it with the lightsaber where it was like, okay, yeah, she's got it. Now at this point, I was a bit like, right, so she has got it. She's confident in her abilities. Happy days. But what annoyed me was exactly what she said, where she was like, the longer we leave it, the less chance we've got. And I was literally going, go now, shut up, go.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse, in my eyes, in my opinion, on any show. If something's getting away from you in that time and you're stood there talking, I cannot stand it. What sense would you'd be like, right, I've got to go, can't talk. Push me.
Yeah, just go. You didn't even have time to think about it. Yeah, so.
But yeah, good little scene with the Force push and pull.
And I thought about it for a second, and I think I remember some Clone Wars episodes where they throw each other in front of her, or they actually thrown her, so she would know the technique. She would have had used it or seen it being used. Because at first I was like, I was like, people are gonna get so mad.
Yeah, Kanan and Ezra always threw each other.
Yeah.
I was like, throw me.
Yeah, Ezra was always thrown around. It was one of their, it was one of their special moves. It was one of their moves.
Yep.
So, which is so cool.
She has a reference point for it. So, because at first I was like, she just automatically knows this, and I think I'm like, man, this is going to make a lot of people angry. But now that I think about it, yeah, she definitely has seen it. She has, but people who don't watch Clone Wars won't know that. But
Rebels,
I don't know. Yeah, sorry, Rebels. Yeah. Rebels. So,
but yeah, no, you're right. And now, so it takes us on to the next scene where obviously we see Ezra get up there, take out the two stormtroopers. He then grabs the comms and pulls away the stormtrooper. Another little nod to his rebel days where he used to get in their uniform.
Classic Ezra.
Yeah, and then it switches back then to Ahsoka coming up the stairs against Morgan and the rest of the stormtroopers. And at this point, I think I was definitely thinking she's on her own here. I think she might die or she might get left behind.
I questioned it for a second.
And another wow moment with awesome music where she wasn't alone.
No.
So I sort of got my Avengers theme of we're not alone.
That's exactly what I was thinking about, Jack. When that happened, I was like, well, Jack's going to be happy.
Yeah.
So we're not alone.
I was buzzing off that. Again, another little cool scene with Sabine helping out. Again, what did you guys think of that?
Yeah, because you don't actually see Sabine jump. Like, you see her throw Ezra, and he, like, barely makes it. And then the next scene is her about to start running, and then she sees Ahsoka, and then we don't see Sabine jump, because obviously she's going to run back.
Why did she wait that long to say no?
Yeah, like, Ezra. Oh, never mind.
I think she would have had to have gone around and stuff like that, sneak around a little bit, but, I mean, it's just trying to think of, like, the actual events happening. If it was real life, she had to sneak around and get to the backside, because she was on one side of the thing, get to the other. But I liked it. Did Ahsoka use the same move that she used to disarm Anakin in the World Between Worlds to disarm Morgan Elsbeth? It kind of looked the same.
Oh.
No, I didn't. It was a good shout, that. I'll have to watch that back. If the Explorers know, let us know.
Yeah,
because they didn't really show it. They didn't really show it in World Between Worlds. Like, they kind of spin around each other, but as they're spinning around, she has the blade, and they kind of did the same thing, and all of a sudden she's got the blade, and she swipes her, and she takes her out.
Both! And she double takes Morgan out. Like, not even just lightsaber, like, I'm taking you out with this Mother Talisman sword, too.
Yeah.
And, like, the witches are just like, Morgan's dead.
They're like,
and Thrawn's like, yep, that's what she was supposed to do.
Yeah.
No.
And then from that point, we see them jump off the cliff edge. And I wasn't sure. I thought at this point they're going to run and try and jump on the ship.
Yeah, me too. It's like, here we go.
And then obviously you see them.
I kind of assumed that's what they were doing.
Yeah.
Another Lord of the Rings jumping off the tower, landing on an animal or landing on your ship.
On the eagle.
When I seen them running and go to jump, I expect them to jump like far forward. But when they jumped downwards, I thought, oh no, they're going to land on the Jedi shuttle. And obviously they did when it came up. And Thrawn obviously then, I want to say betrayed, but obviously he knew what he was doing. Destroyed the fortress. And you see the scene with the mothers where they all look at each other like,
Is that the first threads of like descent building? Because he just laid waste to their...
Yeah. I've got an idea in my mind, and I'll speak about it in a bit, about the Dathomir thing, and that, like you said, then I think that's the first scene you're going to see, or we see now, of there isn't 100% trust between these people, these groups.
Well, there can never be.
They're using each other, for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
And as I've said, I was the one who said right away that those are like the bodies of other witches coming from the homeworld of, the witches of Dathomir. So, just so you know, when those end up being witches, I said it.
Yeah. But that leads me into another crazy theory. Then after that, obviously, we see Thrawn obviously get his little mention of how victorious he is now, chuffed to bits. He's happy that he's got his victory, and then obviously it goes into the end stuff. Now I'm gonna do the end stuff a little bit backwards, just because I think we need longer to get into certain things. So I'm gonna start off with the last thing that we see is Ezra coming off the shuttle and meeting Hera.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of that? Because that's quite emotional. We'll start with you, Taylor.
Oh, that was so good. And first of all, Ezra didn't have to be wearing the stormtrooper armor coming off the ship. I get sneaking off and stealing
that's
the
his
ship.
Little rebels nod, I think, again.
Yes, it has to be. And he totally stole Shin's ship, or Shin and Balin's ship. And he's landing there, and Chopper's the one who recognizes him
away.
first. Yeah, and he just how he touches Chopper's head.
Chopper knew straight away.
And it was just like, oh, I was like, oh my god. And I was so happy. Oh. He's like, Jimmy. Hi Hera, I'm home.
Yeah, it was like a mother and son reunion. The look on Hera's face. The acting in this has been really, really, really good. Really, really good. I mean, everyone has done an awesome job, but just, with the eyes and stuff and just seeing each other, I thought that was pretty cool. Chopper knowing it was him, just being able to sense it. I know people probably sick of hearing me say this, but I always equate droids to dogs, like their loyalty. And so smell. It's like he could smell it was Ezra, and he knew after a minute, he was him. So that was a really cool scene, and I know, out of I think there were 6 of us in my living room, 3 of us were in the know as far as Rebels and things, and we're all like, oh yeah, that was so good. So I loved it. There was a few things that I thought they missed, or I was a bit okay with that scene. So the first thing, I wish that it had Jason Cinderella there and him and Ezra had met.
Yeah,
I think they missed,
waiting
missed a bit
for
of an opportunity. But,
they came down because they thought it was somebody bad.
Right, that leads me nicely into my second point. So I'm so glad you said that. So they've already had one Rebel cruise ship absolutely annihilated by pretty much the same ship. How easy was it for that ship just to dock again? Come on.
Yeah, they just let it land when it literally just took out that last
someone
one. Oh my gosh.
Must have been thinking, I'm pretty sure this happened last time and didn't go down, so I won't let someone board us. But anyway, Star Wars, I'm happy. Yeah, it was a good little scene. Next thing I'll talk about, because I think it was pretty quick, and there's less to talk about with this as well, because I want to move on to the big one, is Shin's little scene where she put a lightsaber up. What is going on there? Over. Yeah, she's just taking over a clan, and that's it.
She's taking over the Tuscans of Peridia.
Yeah.
She doesn't know what to do. She's so confused. She's like, did he even knight her? We're done your training? Or is it just I'm done?
Yeah, that's what that's going to come back when I score this episode. But I wasn't real pleased with how little time we got with her and Balin, they were an afterthought, I think.
Yeah, it was like, oh crap.
This should have been an hour long. We should have gotten a cutscene. You could have opened with them talking and going their separate ways or something. But I think her holding that lightsaber up, blasting it over her head, is to say, "Hey, I'm in charge now, fools."
Yeah.
And I think that she's going to have her band of merry men. And of course, I think that's going to because they're obviously stuck on that planet for a while. So
something's going on there.
Yeah, but but too, you become a better master after you teach, right? Like when you teach something, you become better at it. So I think that this is going to help her become a better Jedi or better whatever she is. I don't want to say Sith or Jedi.
Maybe.
Yeah, more confident because she does seem lost. She seems she needs to have that experience, that life experience. And I think this is how she'll get it. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I was fully expecting her to be betrayed by Thrawn. I think what could have made a decent scene is if she was chasing them down on the wolves, on the howlers, and as that fire's coming down, that she'd have got struck.
Yeah.
But like I said in the Ferris episode, I think there's scope now for her to take over Balin's arc, unless, and this is going to lead me into the next thing I'm going to talk about, obviously Balin, have they got extra footage that they could use? Who knows? Because the Balin bit, I know it's your man, Jimmy, so you can start us off. What did you think about the Balin scene in the mountains? Or
he has a different cape on. I noticed that.
Yeah.
That looked pretty sick. But
Molly, change the fabric.
Yeah, I need to change the fabric on that cosplay. But again, I'm still angry that this is all we got. But man, what we got was nuts. Because don't we? I have it written down in order, but so we see Ahsoka when they go back to the Noti. We see the Morai, which we all assume is the daughter. And then all of a sudden he's standing there and he's looking, and there's the statues. And you have one crumbled. You have the father standing out there like the Lord of the Rings kings down the river. And then you have the son beside him. And I was just like, oh my gosh. And then I looked at the time. I was like, oh man, this is all we're getting. Like, this is it. That's it.
Yeah.
And so I know we talked about him needing to be scarred or something so they could change characters. And I know we had mentioned, too, on the theory stuff about, was it Liev Schreiber, the guy who's been in, some action movies? He played, Sabretooth, and he was an X-Men. If you someone did a thing where they put a beard on him. I've seen it. Really good. It's not far off, and he has the voice. He could do it.
Could he do the acting?
I don't think they should.
It breaks my heart. And obviously, it's a terrible loss for Ray Stevens' family and in the Star Wars world and nerdom in general, because he did a lot of things. But this is probably going to be something he's beloved for more than anything he's done. And he's not here to get imagine he gets to walk out on stage at Japan, Tokyo Celebration.
Geez.
That place would have melted down for that man.
Yeah,
and it's just, I'm kind of getting a little emotional thinking about it. I love that character. I loved all the lines, the Jedi stuff, and it breaks my heart that that's all we're going to get. So I can't believe how emotional I'm getting right now.
It was a beautiful last scene for him.
Oh.
Yeah. And then obviously we've got a couple more scenes that we'll go into in a minute. Cool, yeah. Obviously quite an emotional scene there with Balin. So the next thing we're going to quickly speak about is the bit with Sabine and Ahsoka. Clearly they get left in the village with the Noti. I missed the bit with the Morai that you were talking about there, Jim. I didn't quite see that. Obviously Sabine sees something. I quickly watched it 2 or 3 times. I was looking at the cloud like, what is she seeing there? Ahsoka has a quick glance. And then obviously we get the big reveal. Hayden Christensen again, making his presence known. At this point, I was a bit like, why? But then I sort of got it because he's happy to be there and see her.
He's watching over her.
Yeah, but what I did sort of laugh at is nobody cares that they've been left behind. no one's panicking. Like Ahsoka and Sabine have not said anything.
Well,
They said it's
Well,
half a change.
Ahsoka's like, I think this is where we're like, Ezra's back home, and I think we're where we need to be for now. And I think Ahsoka's like, okay, we got some intense training to do now that you have finally found your Force powers. So I think Ahsoka's totally happy to be there.
I was just a bit like, no one's mentioned them yet, and even Ezra Tahara's not said anything. Or you need to go.
Is that why they aren't there at the end of like the Skywalker saga? Because they're just stuck in another galaxy. But we're getting, but we have to be getting a season 2. There has to be. So
well, I think this is what Jimmy's going to be talking about now. What do you reckon, Jimmy?
Oh, about a season 2?
Yeah, and that scene, do you reckon it will lead in nicely?
Yeah, there's no way now. I told you or when did we record? Sunday. I told you guys. I was like, Rosario Dawson said that just so people didn't realize it was happening. Like, that trick is being played out, I think. Now, Freddie Prinze got us because I really did think we were getting a flashback of him.
Well, I thought the ghost was Kanan.
I still believe that we could see that season 2 possibly.
Yeah.
The show's massively popular.
So good.
But I thought it was cool seeing Anakin because right before that, Ahsoka tells her it's time to move on. I was like, move on from what? Like, like you guys are stuck.
Yeah.
So is she talking about moving on from like Anakin's training or whatever? But he looks happy. He looks good. I feel like he's back fully on the light side. Maybe she released him in War Between Worlds. Like he was stuck.
And I don't think they de-aged Hayden Christensen for that. I think
that's a really good point though, Jimmy.
Oh.
So maybe she kind of helped him find the light officially. Like, he shows up at the end of Return of the Jedi, whatever. But like you said, Taylor, he's kind of at the age, he would have been when he fell to being Vader and stuff, and we look like it at least.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe
really
I'm reading into it too much, but that's what my head can until I'm told otherwise.
Yeah. And then the last bit we'll talk about, obviously, is Thrawn declaring his victory, and then being told, right, they've arrived at Dathomir. So
throwing some shade at Ahsoka too.
Yeah. He was chuffed to bits with himself. Obviously, he's not realised that Ezra's got back with him, which is quite funny. But yeah, I did. Once they said they were at Dathomir, obviously something's happening now with the mothers. Obviously, they've gone back to Dathomir because that's where the magic is, literally. Those bodies. So that makes sense, complete sense to me.
For sure.
I think that wraps it all up. Is there anything else you guys want to add with the Dathomir bit, Taylor?
Not really. Well, not really with the Dathomir bit, but
you got something, Jimmy?
Go for it. Yeah.
No, go ahead, Taylor. You finish first.
I was kind of going to jump back to something else that we already talked about. So.
All right. Here's my thought. Is Marin going to feel the presence of new witches? Does that pull Marin and Cal into season 2?
Oh!
That connection she'll have with Dathomir, all that magic coming back to life, is that going to awaken in Marin and she's going to be like, ooh, I got to go back to Dathomir?
You know what? That would make so much sense because I have actually watched a few of these little YouTube videos that people are putting together. And apparently the Zepho, it actually has a huge background presence throughout this whole Ahsoka series. And
that
it's
Kujat guy.
Yeah, and it has the writing for the Zepho on it. And it has the Kujak, which is the main Zepho, I guess. And there's a lot more Zepho connections in this Ahsoka show that they didn't even point out. So go on YouTube and find those. And then maybe
go to New Rockstars.
Anyone.
New Rockstars does a really good job of pointing that out. So
yeah. So, maybe we will be getting Cal and Marin. Oh my god!
I still think we're going to get a live action Bender.
I was bummed. I was so bummed that didn't happen.
Same.
But seeing the beginning, I was like, okay, it makes sense that it's who it was.
Yeah.
Not the Bendu. I was kind of bummed, but yeah. So
yeah. So that pretty much wraps up the Ahsoka episode 8.
One
Go on,
more
Taylor.
thing. Okay, so just thinking back to the Balin being left on Peridia, just that scene of Ray Stevenson kind of standing there, just kind of like looking out, and the wind's like blowing in his cape, and I thought that was a really good closing for that character even too, because they may have even had more clips recorded of him there, of what he was doing there, and they might have taken those out to leave it just that this is where he is. He's found, like, he's peaceful, like he's totally at peace, like he's found what he's kind of looking for, like, I don't know. I guess people could dig into it, like the brother, the father, and the sister, and like people could look into it farther. But if you just look at it like Balin's there, he's like at peace. He's out there doing his own thing. He's on Peridia, where he's always wanted to be. I thought, like looking out at the beautiful mountains, I thought that was good, like a good ending for that character, even too. Like, yeah. Anyways,
Cool. So on that point, then. Scores wise, we'll start with you, Taylor. Then we're going to score this. How many loft cats do you give this?
Oh, I'm gonna give this one an 8.5. Like, I feel like I have given almost all of them an 8.5 loaf cats, but there was just so many good so many good shouts in this episode, and like we got so many good answers and good questions for future stuff too, and I feel like they rounded off some good questions, some good stories and stuff. So yeah.
Cool. I'm going to go for about an 8 because it gives us more questions than it does answers. It just frustrates me so much. Was a top quality episode, though. I will say the fighting was absolutely brilliant. For me. So good. The fighting was awesome. The special effects of the magic, awesome. Jimmy, coming to you. What do you reckon?
I would say, Jack, you and I are usually on the same wavelength. Seeing 3 Jedi fighting together, getting me fired up for Acolyte and maybe some High Republic stuff down the line. Just seeing that was phenomenal. The storyline being pushed forward. Almost guaranteed a second season. I can't imagine they're going to jump right to a movie from there. But I will say that, I don't know if this is like my bias of how much I like Shin and Balin, but I am disappointed that that's all we got. I think, again, maybe like Taylor, like you said, maybe there is footage and they thought, out of respect, we'll just end it here. But I'll say 8. I'm teetering on a 7.5. I'm going to give it 8 Loth Cats. It was a really, really good episode. I yelled out loud multiple times with people sitting in my house watching me. So I can't sit there and bash it too much and let, my feelings for like my favorite characters, like that would just make me a big, giant crybaby. So I'll give it an 8. And that's the thing, too, is like, I don't know how you guys feel, but I know we're emotional still. It's only been like an hour. I think this is the best series that's come on Disney Plus because there are no down episodes. Like rewatching it yesterday, I realized like they're all good. And I would put this, dare I say, well, we'll talk about that in our recap show. Never mind.
Awesome. Happy day. So on that note, then, explorers, please, as always, leave us your comments, thoughts, feedbacks, and scores. Explore the Force on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and also on YouTube. And don't forget, you can also email us at exploretheforce@gmail.com. And as always, then, Taylor.
For light and life.
And from myself, train your body, focus your mind, and trust in the Force.
Yes.
And for all of us, I hope you enjoyed our first recap shows. Yeah. We have spoken.
Yeah, we have.
Awesome. Take it easy.
Yeah.